Imagine waiting anxiously for a much-needed delivery, only to find out at the last minute that it's been delayed simply because there aren't enough qualified drivers available on the road. Believe it or not, that situation might start becoming more common now that President Trump has officially signed a groundbreaking new rule requiring that all truck drivers in the United States must be able to both speak and understand English proficiently. While the primary goal behind this new regulation is to improve road safety for everyone, the reality is that this change could potentially lead to fewer licensed drivers overall, slower deliveries, and increased transportation delays in certain regions across the country. Today, we're going to dive deep into why this new rule was introduced, how it might directly affect you and your family, and what key things you should be paying attention to in the coming months as this policy rolls out nationwide. Stick with me, because truly understanding these new requirements could help you better prepare for the ripple effects that may soon impact your everyday life. Now, let's go back to the beginning. Earlier this year, President Trump signed an executive order officially making English the national language of the United States. Building on that directive, he is now extending this focus by requiring every commercial truck driver to prove their ability to read, write, speak, and comprehend English at a practical level. This is being described by officials as a non-negotiable safety mandate, which sounds pretty serious, and honestly, it really is. The rationale behind this policy is straightforward. Truck drivers absolutely need to be capable of reading critical road signs, understanding complex directions, communicating effectively with law enforcement and safety officers, responding to emergencies on the spot, and ensuring they can follow verbal instructions that might be essential to preventing accidents. If a driver lacks sufficient English skills, it raises real concerns about potential delays, dangerous miscommunications, or even life-threatening accidents on our highways. That's the key issue the administration is highlighting as the driving force behind this new initiative. Under this executive order, drivers who are unable to demonstrate adequate English proficiency may be immediately removed from duty and prohibited from operating commercial vehicles until they can meet the required standards. The Department of Transportation, under the leadership of Secretary Sean Duffy, will take charge of enforcing this new rule, which includes conducting stricter license checks, updating vehicle inspection procedures, and implementing fresh guidelines to ensure compliance with the language requirement. Interestingly, a component of this plan also includes efforts to improve working conditions for truckers, not merely imposing tighter rules. Many truck drivers have long been advocating for safer roads, clearer communication protocols, and more standardized guidelines across the industry. Organizations like American Truckers have even publicly thanked the government online for listening to their concerns and taking action aimed at enhancing safety and professionalism within the trucking world. From their viewpoint, these new changes could usher in a safer, more reliable, and more respected trucking industry, something seasoned drivers and commuters alike know is critical for everyone sharing the road. But naturally, there's another side to this issue. Some advocacy groups and industry experts are expressing concerns that this regulation could unintentionally exacerbate an already strained labor market for truck drivers. Currently, a significant portion of America's truck driving workforce consists of immigrants who may speak English as their second language. This has sparked valid questions. What happens if a large number of highly skilled, experienced drivers are forced out of their jobs simply because they can't immediately pass more rigorous language tests? Could this lead to even greater shortages of qualified drivers? Might it disrupt fragile supply chains, making it harder and more expensive to get essential goods where they need to go? If that scenario unfolds, the consequences wouldn't just hit trucking companies or big retailers. Ordinary Americans could start feeling the impact in very tangible ways. It could result in longer waiting times for package deliveries, fewer items in stock at local stores, and higher prices for necessities like groceries, medications, and basic household products. For families living in rural communities or smaller towns, places where delivery routes are already stretched thin, the potential fallout could be even more pronounced. While these effects likely won't materialize overnight, they're important to consider because they touch on the foundational systems we depend on every day, often without even realizing it. For businesses that rely heavily on trucking, this policy shift might also bring short-term operational challenges. Companies may need to invest more resources into providing English language training for their drivers or work harder to ensure their current workforce can meet the new requirements before deadlines arrive. On the flip side, this change could create fresh opportunities in unexpected places, such as new jobs for English teachers specializing in trucking-related communication or the development of specialized training programs aimed at helping drivers quickly improve their English proficiency. Beyond trucking, this executive order could inspire similar language proficiency standards in other high-safety industries, including construction, emergency services, and other transportation sectors. It's definitely something to monitor closely if you work in any of these fields or know someone who does. At the end of the day, even changes that might seem minor or technical at first glance can trigger wide-reaching effects across our country's economy, labor market, and daily lives. Whether it's the goods we purchase, the services we rely on, or the professionals working tirelessly behind the scenes, everything is connected. Staying informed and ready helps all of us make smarter decisions and better understand how policy changes shape the world around us. Thanks so much for spending your time with me today as we unpack this important topic. If you found this discussion helpful, or if you have insights, questions, or stories of your own to share, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Building this community together makes these conversations even more meaningful. And be sure to stay tuned, because there's always more to discuss when it comes to how policies like this are quietly yet powerfully influencing the world we live in every single day.